Hey, Aaron Rabinowitz here for Red Giant TV. Recently, I moved to a new apartment after months of renovations, and if there's anything that I've learned in that process, it's that power tools can be dangerous in the wrong hands. I may or may not have been the slowdown in our moving in process. Anyway, in this episode of Red Giant TV, director Seth Worley shows you the right way to use tools dangerously. Through CGI, of course. Take it away, Seth.
Hello, and welcome to the greatest tutorial of your life, also known as this tutorial, in which I'm going to show you how to fire nails out of a nail gun without actually doing it. Most visual effects are based on not actually doing things, and you're not going to actually do this. Here we have my brother Ben firing nothing out of a nail gun, and here we have a quote-unquote propane tank, which is actually a helium tank, having nothing fired at it. But we're going to take that helium tank and jaws it. That's right, jaws it. So let's start with our shot of Ben firing nails. Let's create a comp, and we are going to first and foremost do some our favorite motion tracking. We're going to actually track the tip of this gun loosely, and we have a large tracking area. Let's just see how we do here. Go. Well, that didn't go super well, so as you can see it falls off a little bit, so we're going to guide it a little bit and let's try again. Okay, that also failed, so bring that down. Try again. Okay, and again. Keep it going. Yeah, see, it's failing drastically. Let's open up our tracking area a little more. And go. So now that's finally done, we create a new null object. Have our target be the null object and hit apply. So now our null object is flying about with the gun. So now what we want to do is we want to create a new actually first. We have these nails here that are horribly chroma keyed. I just took photos of nails and then on a green piece of paper. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a new composition. We want it to be 75 by 75, and since we have 3 different nails, we're going to do 3 frames duration. We'll call it nail particles. Okay, so now we'll drop nail 2. We will scale it down, perfect, and then go frame over, go up to edit split layer, and we'll cut that one off. Now we'll drop nail 3 down in, scale it down, and we'll go to edit split layer, cut the front of it off, and then go frame over and do split layer, and cut the back end of it off, and then we'll bring nail 4 down in, scale it down, and then do edit split layer and cut the front end of it off. So now our comp is each frame of this comp is our nail, is a different nail. To get rid of this green, let's go ahead and bring some hue saturation down, turn the saturation all the way down, and we'll copy and paste each of the nails. So, there we go. Let's go back into our previous comp. Let's bring our nail particles down into the comp and then lose their visibility. Now we're going to go to layer new solid particular. And, like as expected, we will drop particular onto it. Then, we want to make sure that we open up the transform section of our null where we've tracked. Let's go into our emitter of particular, go to our position XY, alt click the timer, and down here you'll see we're going to use this pick whip to parent it to the position of the null. So now our particles are flying about with the tip of the gun. Perfect. Now we want to make some adjustments. First we want to, in particular, go to particle, set it for sprite, and then in texture we want to assign it to our, nope, not that, our nail particles. So now we can't see anything, but let's turn up the size of our particles. We will start to see, oh, sorry, do random still frame. Look at those nails. Let's go to our rotation and rotate them according to the direction they were supposed to be flying. Now we go up to our velocity. Velocity for motion needs to be down to 0. Our velocity, let's turn it way up to see which directions they're going. And let's take our direction and make it directional. So, and our direction spread to 0. Now, if we do our Y rotation, our X rotation, we start to see what direction these nails are going. We want to orientate them to where they are going toward us, slightly away from camera, or toward camera, away from Ben. And then we'll turn our direction up a lot. And now we'll start to see flying out like crazy. Let's move it down to be about 25 particles per second. Turn our velocity up even higher. Maybe the size of our particles. Let's make them bigger. Now nails are just flying out of there. Let's actually do 15 particles a second. So now I've got nails flying out of that gun, which is great. And it looks even better if you turn motion blur on. As you can see, nails are flying out of the nail gun. Awesome. So that looks pretty cool. Now we want just to get the idea. This video was a little over the top, so we decided to add muzzle flashes to the nail gun, even though that wouldn't really happen. So I'm actually going to duplicate particular, and let's turn our nails off. I'm going to go down and we're going to make it a sphere. We're going to turn our velocity down to 0. Our sphere size, let's turn that down. And let's do about 100 particles a second. No, let's go even higher. About 1,000 particles a second. Now he's light riding, essentially. That's pretty cool. But it's not what we want. So we are going to now, actually, in our down here in particular, we're going to go ahead and go to the first frame, and we're going to alt-click our timer so that we lose that parenting of the position. But let's take our position of our emitter and put it right there at the tip of the gun on the first frame. And then let's take our particular layer and just parent the whole thing, the whole solid, to the null object. Now the actual particular solid is flying about and our particles are staying still. Now what we want to do, let's turn our velocity up then a little more. So now we see that we have particles flying out. Let's turn our life of our particles to 0.1. That looks good. Our size over life, let's have it to where it gets smaller over time. Starting to look good. Our sphere feather, let's turn that up. Let's go to the color and make it a bit orange. Or yellow. Transfer mode, add. That's looking good. Let's turn our size up now. There, now we're starting to get a muzzle flash. But we want it to flash, don't we? So, here's what I do. Now, Harry actually has, here at Red Giant TV has a lot of really good methods for doing muzzle flashes in particular. Not actually sure how close this is to that. So honestly, you can go to Red Giant TV and see his other tutorials and quick tips on muzzle flashes in particular, which are much better for when you're doing real gunfire and you want more convincing gunfire. But this is good for this stylized thing. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to click the timer, the first frame, go one frame over, make it 0. Go a frame over, and gonna edit keyframe, keep it at 0. One frame over, and go back to 1000. Right? And basically repeat this. So actually, I'm just gonna copy, paste, go to last frame, paste, paste, paste. Why don't we go ahead and just do this? So now we get pretty interesting looking muzzle flashes. All right, so that's pretty awesome. Let's add our nails back in. So now we've got nails flying out of the nail gun while it's supposedly muzzle flash. Let's make the muzzle flash a little bigger. Turn that size up. And our velocity we can turn up. Let's turn our nail count down a little bit, down to 10. But yeah, so that looks great. So now he's shooting nails out of the nail gun in a really over-the-top way. Next we want to, because there are muzzle flashes going on, we want to actually add the light to Ben's face. So we're going to go to the first frame where there's a muzzle flash, double-click on Ben, click the paint tool, go down here, duration, single frame, most important thing. Opacity, let's turn it down a little bit. Make sure mode is set to add, hardness down to 0, and we will start painting. That's too much. Let's bring our opacity down. Let's see. So now we'll add some brightness there. Some brightness to Ben's face. So there still should be a flash there. And then we'll go to the next one. And the next one, and just repeat this over and over. So there we go, looks good. Now, our next shot, we have this here shot. So let's bring it down to the comp. We're going to actually use After Effects, CS6's new camera tracker. So we, with the clip selected, we'll click Track Camera. There we go. All right, now, so now that's done, something we want to go here is go in here, one of these frames, and if you look, you can actually mouse over here and find something close to the surface. Let's go with that, and then we'll control click or right click and do create solid and camera. Now we've got a solid that's aligned with the ground. Beautiful. So now what we want to do is create a new solid, call it particular. Go over here, grab particular, drop it on, and let's move our emitter up and go down to physics, bounce. Go to bounce and set your floor layer to be the Netrek solid, and set its collision event to be stick. So, oh, and then your gravity, start by turning it up to 100. So everything should be falling and sticking to this solid. All our particles should, at least. Yeah, see, here they are. Falling and sticking. And if we lose the visibility of our solid, it looks like they're falling onto the ground and sticking. Beautiful. So, what we want to do here is start by positioning it there. Then let's go to our particle, do sprite. Well, not yet. First we have to create a particle, just like before. Let's create a new composition, 75 by 75, but this time let's do it 1 frame duration. Bring nail 1. Scale it down. Drop our saturation on. Lose our saturation. Alright, and then we want to drag nail particle ground down into our comp, mute it, go to particular, set our particle type to be sprite, to be nail particle ground. Let's have it be random still frame, and we will orientate the, let's go here, see all these. Oh, where my nail at? That's crazy. Let's turn the size up. There they are. There are my nails. So, let's orientate our rotation so they are sticking to the ground. Let's turn our amount down to maybe 10. We also want our gravity to be up a lot higher, like a lot higher. Yeah, there you go. Even higher. And they're sticking in the ground. And our rotation, let's turn up random rotation a little bit so they're falling at different angles. So now what we want to do is we want to go to our first keyframe, and for the sake of reference, let's actually turn our pre-run up to 100. And we will start the timer at position Z and at position X, Y. Move it back over so it's starting closer to us. That's good. And then we go to the end, bring it in tighter, bring it over. Now it's hitting that tank. We don't want it hitting the tank. That's not good enough. That could be better. So now you can see, let's even turn our velocity up a little bit. So now nails are all hitting the ground like crazy. Let's actually do 5 nails per second. Alright, let's turn our gravity up even higher. I know, it's insane. Now, they're falling and sticking fast. In fact, let's see what it looks like with motion blur on. Here you go. Let's even turn our size up for particle. Definitely don't want those guys hitting the tank. Let's move them back a little bit. Let's turn our pre-run down. There we go. So now these nails are hitting the ground fairly quickly, and they're heading toward the propane tank. Oh no! The suspense. Alright, so now let's go and create a new adjustment layer, and we're going to add a look to this. So let's go ahead and rename it and call it looks so we don't get confused. Go up here, looks, drag it down onto the adjustment layer, and go up here and click edit. Once looks pulls up, we have here our image. Let's go over to the left-hand screen. You see all of these presets that we have set. And, you know, I could grab one of these, like, say, Caucasian Occasion. That's good. Or the IC4. That one actually looks pretty cool. You know. Or we can go over here and grab any of these tools and use them. Let's see, what do we have here on this set? We have a spot fill, which contributes to this old vintagey feel. 3-strip process, let's keep that on. Colors to 3-way, yep, I like that purplish tone. Saturation, let's leave that on. Film grain, let's turn that on. It's very subtle. And film-like curves, let's keep those on. So, you know, that's good. Let's keep that. So there is our pretty awesome look. Alright, so there you have it. That is how you do this effect. And I know it's a weird kind of effect, but I hope to see, I don't know, I feel like there's probably a lot of cool things you could do out there besides, nail guns and stuff. So look forward to seeing what you guys do with it, and have a very nice day, please.
You know what, Seth? I will have a nice day. Thank you. Oh, and, it took amazing restraint not to say, dude, you totally nailed that. Restraint that I clearly don't have. Moving on. If you enjoyed this tutorial and you want to learn more about Seth and his work, check out his site at sethworley.com. There's great stuff there, including his web series Adventure Now and The Time Closet. Don't forget, you can always download a free trial of any of the Red Giant products that Seth used in this video at redgiantsoftware.com. And you can get tons of free presets for Red Giant plugins on redgiantpeople.com. In fact, Seth has been putting up a bunch of presets that he's created through his work as a director and as both a visual effects and motion graphics artist. Speaking of free, check out Colorista Free and LUTBuddy, 2 free color correction plugins that we're giving away for, that's right, free. You can find those at redgiantsoftware.com. Finally, I want to mention that if you're looking to keep up with what we're doing at Red Giant, whether it's a tutorial, a contest, a product release, or whatever, just follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and on our blog. Once again, I'm Alan Rabinowitz for RedGiantTV.com. See you next time.